Hello everyone at home, how you doing? And how is your family? I hope you're all fine. Well, glory be to God if they're all fine, and definitely they will be fine. Today I'm just going to be talking about how to survive in UK, especially if you're a student. Now, why do you think this topic is so important, or why do you think this topic is not important? Well, to some, it's not relevant, to some, it is. But for those who feel it's relevant, then this video message is for you. Okay? Now, just sit down and relax, just like me. And you can have a cup of tea with you or coffee so you can enjoy my program today. Now, how to survive in the UK? If you're an international student, before coming to the university, first of all, you need to know the course you want to study. For example, maybe you want to study engineering courses, IT courses, human resource courses, or you just want to study humanities courses such as English, literature, and all that. You really need to know first of all. Then, secondly, you need to do your findings. You need to Google, or you need to ask your friends or families who are aware of schools in abroad. For example, if you want to come to UK, you need to check the list of schools that are going to offer your courses. Okay? For example, if you're going to Manchester University, you need to know if they're offering courses like engineering courses, IT, law, and so on and so forth, or fashion designing, you know, and many others, or sports, you name it, or physiotherapy courses, etc. Now, when you do your findings correctly, I know that these schools, the school you want, have the courses you want to study. All you need to do is ask or click on it, register online. There's always a platform on the school website where you can register. For example, like Birmingham City University, once you check the courses you want to study, maybe you want to study human resource management, or you want to study project management, or you want to study engineering courses or fashion designing, you can click on it to register, and you need to ask many questions as possible before coming down. You need to know the requirements. Once you click on the courses, you know whether you need some courses, like maybe you need like human resource management. Now maybe you need some social science courses to back it up, or you need, definitely math and English is always very important for most courses. You can't do without that. And you need to know if your result and everything are intact, and if it's not, you need to ask questions. Maybe you need to write an exam like the English exam and all those stuff like GMAT and stuff like that. If you need to, then you need to plan ahead. The most important thing before coming to abroad to study, even an international student, is planning. If you click on the courses you want to study, or the course you want to study, there can be, you can study two courses, like combined courses that are related. You know, you need to find out if your requirements are okay, fine, you're good to go. You start processing your application. If it's not, then you need to write an exam in your home country, or better still, you register online and you take the English courses exam or math courses, whichever one it's gonna be. And once the result is out, you don't have to waste time. Immediately, you need to send your result to them so they can give you feedback if you meet up with the requirement. Now, if everything is intact, you don't have to panic. Okay, if everything is intact, then you start applying. You apply, they give you feedback, your cast letter, and all that. Without that, definitely you can't start anything, you can't go further. They'll give a cast letter. From cast letter, they tell you what the fees is. Definitely, while you apply for the course, you would have seen the fees, because most universities, they do that. They write the fees and everything. Since you're an international student, you can have a current converter on your laptop, or you can find out the rate of the foreign exchange rate, maybe what the money is, then you multiply it by the school fees, so you have an idea of how much you're going to pay. You understand? Now, once you know the amount you're going to pay, for example, if you're a student and maybe the course you're studying is like project management, and maybe the school you're going to is going to worth £5,000, and you're a Nigerian, and you know that the foreign exchange is more like 250, 252. Sometimes it could drop, but you need to know the exact amount, the exact rate it is as at the time you want to exchange your money. For example, if it's 250, definitely you know that for £5,000 you're going to pay 125,000. Okay, not in pound. That's why you convert it. 125,000. If your school fees is like 10,000 there about upwards, then you know you're gonna be dealing with um sorry then you know you're going to be dealing with millions and stuff like that. So once you know about that, you need to find out about school student accommodation. If you're new, definitely, if you have not been there, if you've not been to abroad before, maybe it's the first time you visit or something like that, then you need to find out the student accommodation. Most of the student accommodation are always bill inclusive, which is always good. Why? Because you're a student and you need to focus on your studies. You don't have to like run up and down, topping up for your bills and all that. So student accommodation, you need to register on time for that, and you need to know the exact amount. Now, before coming down here, there are different type of visa for students. We have the tier 1 visa and we have the tier 4 visa. Now, the tier 1 visa are the ones that are independent. Maybe they've been working in their home country before coming down to abroad. Definitely, they know they are capable, they are independent, they can take care of themselves. They're not going to be a liability on anyone. They're not going to have any issues. They can stay anywhere they want to stay, as long as they're independent. And if you're a tier 4 student, definitely your visa that shows that someone is sponsoring you, or someone is sponsoring you. Okay, so if you're a tier 4 student, okay, then you need to know the whole amount you're gonna spend. So for example, if you don't register on time for student accommodation, that will be a little bit difficult. You have to do your own findings elsewhere by going through Google again within the location where the school location is. So, but let me just say, if you get a student accommodation, it's very good. It's going to save you a whole lot of costs. And the reason why student accommodation is very good is because one, it's secured. Where you're going to be living has CCTV. Okay, so for example, if you have issues, maybe like you need there's an emergency, definitely before your GP or anybody comes to attend to you, okay, or whosoever is going to, maybe the nurse or the doctors, whosoever is going to attend to you, definitely those within your vicinity, that's within your student apartments, those working there, the staff working there will attend to you first. Okay, so if you're doing that, definitely it's very, very good, because it's really going to help you. So if you're a tier 4 student, okay, and you didn't register on time for student accommodation, you need to do your findings so you can get a place. Now, how to get a place? Because you are new, you need to look at the amounts, compare it with the student accommodation. If you're not going to spend more or you're going to spend less, then ensure that it's bill inclusive. What do I mean by bill inclusive? Bill inclusive really means you're not going to top up for your gas, you're not going to top up for electricity. Everything will be included in your payments. For example, if you're staying in bill inclusive, let's say everything is £200, definitely that's the amount you're going to pay monthly as a student. Do you understand? That's what we mean by bill inclusive. If it's not bill inclusive, okay, for example, if your house rent is like 250, definitely you top up for gas, you top up for electricity. Now, if you're a student, you're staying in a non-bill inclusive house, okay, you need to ensure that where you're going to stay is going to be a shared apartment. Now, how do you know a shared apartment? It's going to be written on the screen where the adverts are being placed. They'll write it there: shared apartment, student only, shared apartment, student only, non-inclusive bills, student apartments, you need to search. Definitely they will drop their phone number so that you can contact them or their email. Once you do that, tell them that you want to view the house. Go there, ask a lot of questions, as many as possible. Ask how much they top up per month, or is it weekly. You need to find out. Now, when you're looking for a shared apartment, as a student, and I'm sure your happiness is a key thing, your studies is also the most important thing, and that is your main focus while you're in abroad. You need to ensure that your neighbors or your flatmates are decent people. Or better still, depending on the kind of person you are, you know, if you don't mind, maybe you don't mind living with anybody, whether smokers or alcoholics, you don't mind. Definitely, maybe the most important thing to you is just to find a place where you can sleep, wake up and go for your lectures. Then you don't need to ask much questions. But if you're very concerned, definitely all you need to do is to ask how many people are living in the house. If there are, for a good shared apartment, okay, 3 to 5 people are okay. You need to know the number of toilet they have. As for 3 people, 1 toilet is okay. If it's going to be more than 5, definitely that house there should be 2 toilets. Why? Because of your health. And you need to know, if you're a girl, how many girls are in the house and how many boys are in the house. Why is this important? If you're a girl, if you're the older lady, you need to know. You need to know the kind of guys that are there. Are they decent ones? If they are not, definitely you know you're not safe. You can be at risk of rape or sexual harassment and so on and so forth. And if you don't want to be part of that, then you need to move to an apartment where you're not the only lady if they're all guys in the house. And if you're a guy, wow, good. If you're the only guy, there's no problem. And if you don't like it, maybe you're the shy type, you don't like staying with ladies, then you can look for another apartment where there are boys or men like you. Now, reason why the toilet is so important because of hygiene, because of infections and stuff like that. You have different people, and it's very important. Your health really matters. As an international student, you're just adapting to a new environment, and you don't know what and what is involved where you're staying. And you need to ensure that the house is very clean. Are they neat people? They need to be neat, they need to be tidy. You need to check them out. You need to build a rapport with them. Ensure the occupants are in the house, your flatmates are around. You need to build a good rapport with them. You need to know the one that is friendly. You need to know the one that is not friendly. If there are about 5 people and 2 out of 5 are friendly to you, fine. If you're okay by it, you can decide to move in the house. If the house, everything, if you're satisfied with every single thing in the house. But if you're not, there's no need of you staying in that kind of house. Why? Because 3 people don't like you, they don't even want you to be there, so you're not really accepted. So why do you want to move in a house? Definitely they're going to give you a whole lot of headache, and that is going to affect your studies, and I'm sure you don't want that to happen to you. Okay, now back to that. And if you're an international student, you're on tier 4 and you have families in UK, if you want to, you can live with your family to reduce expenses, to reduce costs. And if you don't want to stay with them, just make sure they try as much as possible, they guide you. And if they don't have time, because everybody here minds their business, even if you think you have a brother or a sister in abroad, you still have to live your own life. And just ensure that you get a bill inclusive house. If you don't get it, then try to know how you're going to spend. Now, as a student, you have a lot of opportunities. In fact, you're the ones really, really enjoying. You have a lot of benefits. Now, what do I mean by benefits? Don't think of the other benefits. Now, what do I mean? What I mean is you're going to be excluded from tax council. You're not going to be paying for tax because you're a student. So ensure that where you're going to stay, whether bill inclusive or non-inclusive, you receive a letter from your school, your faculty, whether from Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Law, wherever your faculty is, or business. Just make sure that you apply for council tax exemption letter. They will give it to you like in a day or two. It's going to be ready. You fill in your details, your address, your phone number, your course, your postcode, and so forth. And once you get it, Sometimes it depends on the school. They can call you to come and collect your council tax letter. Once you have it, you make sure you have a copy with you. You make a photocopy, so you scan it to them or you post it to them, to the council, depending on where you're staying. For example, if you're staying in Birmingham, you send it to Birmingham Council. If you're staying in Warsaw, you send it to them. If you're staying in Manchester, you send it to Manchester Council department, so that they will have it in their record that you're a student, you're not working. Now, if you're a TEFL student, majority of TEFL students are always given limited hours to work, like 20 hours to work, per week. Please do not work more than that. Do you know why I'm saying that? It's because for your own benefit. Why? Because your main purpose is to study, and looking at the amount of money, the huge amount of money you spent on your studies, would you want one mere job or one casual work to just come and destabilize your whole plan and stuff like that? No, you wouldn't. And because of your own health, your own, depending on your body anyway, you don't really want to stress yourself when you have a lot of school work and all that to focus on. So it's always good to work within that hours. And if you don't work within that hours, if you're being caught, then you're going to blame yourself for not obeying or respecting the law. Okay, you have to do that. So if you're giving 20 hours or 10 hours, well, majority is always 20 hours. Make sure you work within that, you don't work above that. And for tier 1 students, I'm very sure, I don't know how many hours they're being given to work, but they're really free to work because they're independent, working and studying. Now, another thing I want you to know, that for as a student, once you have your ID card, and you need to know where you want to shop. For example, as a student, you don't need to go to expensive Google shops to buy your things. You're a student. How many things do you need? Do you need so much clothing or what? Just get basically your basic needs like food and all that. You know, just have your list, just have your plan list, your scale of preference, what's more important to you as a student, so you won't just be spending your money anyhow, especially for if you're staying in a blue inclusive house. Okay, if you're going to any shop, make sure that your student ID card is always in your bag, because sometimes some shops offer student discount, like 120 store, they offer student discount. Some stores do offer student discounts. Okay, so sorry, some stores some stores offer student discounts. Okay, so
Once you do that, alright, they will give you a discount and you know you're buying your goods at a cheaper. You're buying. Sorry about that. But you know you're buying your goods at a cheaper rate or at a cheaper cost. Alright. Then apart from that, you need to register with your GP so that when in case of any emergency or any stuff like that, they can attend to you. It's very, very important. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's breaking anyway. So you need to ensure that you take your student ID card along with you. And if you know they're not going to accept student discount, there is no need of you telling them student discount is not by force. Just make sure that you have your plan, your scale of preference, you know what you want to buy, so you avoid spending anyhow. And watch out for shops or stores that have large discount rates. So even if you want to buy new clothing while you're in abroad, definitely it's going to be cheaper. Then you need to know the time you're arriving at UK, for example, or abroad. You need to know maybe the time you're arriving there, it's during the cold weather, like you need to really know how to like warm yourself up. It's very very because of your health. And during, like, now this is summertime. Okay, during the spring it's a little bit cold, the weather is a little bit cold and all that. So you need to like take care of yourself, warm yourself up, buy a small heater,
and ensure that if you're staying in a non-being inclusive house, just make sure that the voltage is not higher than what is required, okay, so that you won't have leakage, or it won't explode. Is very, very important. And make sure that once you put on your heater, okay, make sure that you don't leave it over the night, because it can cause headache. It can, like, health hazard. Yeah, you need to like ensure it goes for, like, let's say 3 hours is okay. You can leave it on for 3 hours, or minimum, let's say 1 hour, depending on how your body is. So I'm going to send the next video again, and we'll continue from where I stopped, how to survive in the UK. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. God bless you. Have a lovely day. Bye.